Hello there. Alright, we're back on streaming how to replicate the shooter framework that was delivered in 5.6. We're going to turn this into some sort of game that we can actually upload to maybe itch.io and just jump in together and have a shoot around. So in the last episode, I went over just looking at all the kind of elements that we have available to us in the sample and some ideas of things that we could maybe add. And then I started noting down all the sorts of bits that I needed to do to get this replicating. And so there was a couple of things around the HUD. There was a couple of things around moving, for example, we moved the ammo count to the base HUD widget, you could call it. And that allows us to hide and show that widget at any time. We did a whole lot of things. We replicated some stuff, we disabled tick on certain items, we moved UI to become a delegate based format so that we're not daisy chaining blueprint interfaces through different actors, which may or may not be best practice, but if it works, right? We moved all the inventory to a component so that we can better have a source of truth for the inventory. We've still got some things to do on that. We fixed some animation blueprint issues with getting controllers over a networked environment. We replicated the bullets. We fixed some issues with the camera showing, with the first person mesh being visible when you've got two players in the same space. And we also figured out how to set up late join debugging for these tests through the config INI. We had to set up some accounts, some fake accounts, which is linked here. And so we did a bunch of other validations. We moved some stuff around for mapping contexts because those were only set up for single player. And so we're going to continue on that. We're going to continue. Just going to carry on. Got some errors right there. No, those are not errors. So let's have a look at where we got to. We hit play. We can add another client. Both have some score information. We can run along and pick up a gun. You can see the other client has the gun. They can fire, but the third person animation doesn't actually play. So one of the things we need to fix is third person animations. Let's note these down as we go. We can pick up this item as well. It's got like a 10-second cooldown for when it will repopulate, or ideally repopulate. That doesn't actually seem to be working. What happens if I run over it? Nothing. So let's go take a look at that actor actually, because I seem to have broken it. So we're going to get the inventory component on overlap and we're going to add the weapon. That's one of the things that we changed. And we're going to set the pickup here to true. We're going to then respawn the item after a certain number of seconds, which will say that if we are picked, we're allowed to go back to not picked. So I think that was the major issue, was this branch was the wrong way around. So let's go try that. So we can pick up this weapon, and then in 10 seconds, that weapon should repopulate. I think I set it to 10 seconds. What we could do as well is this spin could actually happen at the end of this event. We'll call it spin in. We'll just play it from start. Okay, so we should be coming down into this graph after 10 seconds. So let's just change this to 5 and see if it's working fine. We're still not hitting that. Oh, right. We can only respawn this item if we have been picked. And in case you enable pickup from somewhere else, if you've been picked, then you can become not picked, which means it will reshow again. Debugging this one line that I didn't actually fully test. Okay, so that plays, and then you get that like sort of pop-up animation. You can pick this up again. One thing I've noticed as well is that the ammo counter in the bottom left isn't actually displaying. So let's go take a look at why that is. I think in the HUD, be like the widget BP, or maybe they just put it widget underscore. Okay, well let's just go look at HUD shooter. So in here is an overlay. We have this bind to inventory events. Bind to inventory events. We never actually called it. So let's do that. So if I go now and pick up the weapon, didn't work. Let's go here and see what's happening. We actually need to get weapon here and ask if that's valid. So we step forward, we do have a weapon, and so because that's true, we're non-hit testable. However, we appear to just not be able to see this. So let's take a look at this UI and see if any of it is hidden by default for any reason. So you can see here that this is actually hidden. And then when we update the bullet counter, we set it to visible. But I find that quite interesting. This should just be a image, yeah, with a material inside of it, so that's cool. The music is still actually quite loud. Okay, cool. So this I don't actually need. And this image by default can actually be non-hit testable. So I'm actually hiding the parent. So then we can shoot this, and we're not actually getting our updates for the bullets changing. And so the reason for that one is because in this UI overlay where we bind to our UI being visible here, or not visible as the case may be, is we actually don't bind to or assign to the bullets changing. So we'll set that up there. It is still not doing us many favors. So let's breakpoint on here. We are getting an update. We've got 39 of 40. What we actually need to do is, rather than calling the interface on this, we need to actually call the function. So here we've got 20 bullets. I'm going to jump in here. So the parameter count, max bullet size there, and bullet count 40. Well, it should be coming through with 29 if I remember correctly. So let's fire one more bullet. We're coming out of here with the wrong data, so we'll go this way around. Okay, so we get all this information, that's cool. One thing that we need to do back in our overlay is make sure that this is the right way around as well. So that's current bullets, max bullets. This is the wrong function again. We're calling an interface directly there, which is wrong. We're calling an interface on something that we don't need to call the interface on anymore. Okay, so that's cool. We have a function that respects any kind of weapon as long as it's got bullets, and then we get down to the bottom. We can go and pick up a different weapon. Now we just need to fix some elements with the switching. So let's add that. Fix weapon switch. We also fixed the bullet count from episode 1. So that was a regression that I had introduced. Okay, so jumping through, next we said we wanted to fix the weapon switch. So let's go look at how that's done. I'm going to close everything down. We should have a weapon switch function somewhere. Swap weapon here. Firstly, I want to open this up because I don't like that it's on the shift key. So we're going to find the references to this for IMC weapons here. So we'll edit that. In our mappings, we've got left shift for this. So I'm actually going to use the mouse scroll wheel axis. That will allow us to go up and down. It believes in here that it's a bool, which we will change to a 1D float. We'll save both of those. This means that we can actually scroll forward and backwards. We'll make a new function in the inventory component called switch weapon. We'll call this cycle weapon. We'll have a variable in here called forward. Then we can branch, we can ask of the owned weapons, find the current weapon, assuming we can't hold two of the same weapon. And then ask if this +1 is actually valid. And if it is, we'll have a function in here in the event graph called server set weapon, or server switch weapon, I should say. And this we'll call set weapon. And this will be a function that we run on the server, and it will update the client afterwards as well. So when we are cycling our weapon, if we're allowed to go forward by 1, then we will actually get that property. Server switch weapon. If it's not valid, and we're scrolling up in this case, we're actually going to go to element 0. And what we'll do as well is to clean this up a little bit more. So we'll actually have a custom event. Try to set weapon. Try to switch weapon, we're calling this particular function. Spaces in here, so we're in blueprint. So as long as the current weapon is not equal to this inbound weapon, as long as it's not equal, then we'll actually call server switch. So we've got that sorted there. over in our cycle weapon, we'll actually call try to switch, because we don't want to switch if it's the same weapon. And we don't want to call the function on mouse wheel for an RPC, because that would be a terrible idea. Now we just need to set up the same thing for the reverse, where we -1. So here we have -1. And then if we end up going negative, essentially, then we want to use the last index as our next weapon. And back over here, we can now get our inventory component. We're not going to worry about this touch interface because we're not going to be doing this for mobile. BP inventory, although what we could do is touch switch weapon. We'll just always switch cycle weapon forward. If we touch, we'll just cycle the weapon forward. Otherwise, we will, if this is more than 0, we're going forward. So that's our new cycle function. You don't need to activate the weapon, that's all handled for us inside the inventory. So we're requesting to cycle. Let's have a look and see if that actually works. We've got one weapon, we can't switch. Pick up another weapon, and now when we change our weapon, we're actually able to go forward and back. What we could do as well is we could actually set up the 1, 2, 3, and 4 keys as input actions, but that is something that we could do. Maybe we should do that. So what we've done now is we've added a looping, or added a mouse wheel weapon cycling. So we did fix the weapon switching. Now what we're going to do is add numeric. So for numeric weapon switching, what we can do is say any key, and if this is numeric, get key. Could be an is numeric for this. We just go and take a quick look online. Any key is numeric UE5. So apparently, the display name, which will, I guess, get the short name, convert that to a string, convert that to an integer. This will give us an integer-based weapon. So what we'll do is we'll set weapon, or to switch weapon by int, have an inbound int, call it ID. If this integer is valid, then we will try to switch weapon. To this ID. So now we have a new function in our inventory component. We can switch by int. Just call this here. Anytime we press, well, it's when we press any key, so this isn't particularly great. Ah, yes, we need to -1 on there. I actually think as well it's like converting W possibly to an int. We'll say as long as this is more than or equal to 0, then we'll actually summon that function. What I don't want to see is this gets triggered whenever I press WASD. Cool, so it's not triggering now anytime I press that stuff. That was a bit weird. Okay, so I can scroll and I can switch directly to a particular weapon. And if I add 2 players for this, first I'll go grab 2 weapons, and I'll add my second player. If I switch these weapons, you can see it actually updates this other guy. It'd be nice to play an equip and an unequip montage, so I'll add that to the ideas. Equip/unequip montage. That would be cool. And now we can also like fire into this wall. We could fire these pistol bullets into the wall as well. But one of the things that we're not seeing as well that is also a bug is the 3P animations. Let's take a look into that next. Okay. Just going to double check that my streams are actually live. Which it looks like we are. Although it's reused the old tile, so this is what it is. Okay, so fixing the 3P animations. Is there even a 3P animation? So we have a mesh. We have some ABP. In our shooter, we have more anims. We have a first-person pistol, and we have a third-person rifle, third-person pistol. It doesn't look like in this anim graph, we just have a locomotion state for the body, and then I guess the weapon itself is going to fire. So BP weapon. We have fire bullet here, which spawns a bullet, and then it multicasts an animation. If it's the server, it's replicated to everyone, which plays on the owner. We play a firing montage for the animation that was called. So let's just hit a breakpoint on there with F9. That does happen. We'll press F11 to jump in there. Yeah, we're only playing an instance on the first person mesh, so let's grab the third person mesh as well. Play a montage. We'll have to add an additional montage to this. We have a 1P montage. We also want a 3P montage as well. When we fire the bullet, we have a firing montage there. We'll go to animation. We'll rename this to 1P 1p firing montage and 3p firing montage. Let's go and check that our pistol and our rifle still actually have those montages as variables set up. So that's the animation instance for both of those. Our 1p montage has been cleared, so we'll get the pistol shoot, and we'll also get the rifle BP. We'll make sure that that's set up there. We'll also get what's called the grenade launcher in this project and set that up for rifle as well. You'll notice we don't have third person firing montages, so hopefully, and we'll see if this works, if we pop this open for the rifle shoot animation and we click on this and then we open the details and go to fire, what we should hopefully be able to do is take this fire montage and we should be able to create a montage, but we would need to do it for for the third person skeleton. Maybe we can play this on the third person skeleton. Maybe I'm overcomplicating this. Let's just try it. What happens if I do that? It doesn't like it, apparently. So let's just pump these both in. Might be able to actually undo a lot of what I just did. That's cool, and then add another client. No. It's doing nothing to the third person there, so I am on the right track. The inventory component, we got first person shooter, we're playing a montage, we're trying to play it on the mesh here, third person mesh. So when I look at this, this is Manny simple, first person mesh is also Manny simple. In our 3p animations, I'm curious. Like third person rifle, for example, if we look at the anim graph, we may find that it does not have the necessary what's called a slot animation. Yeah, so you see here slot arms. We actually need that in the third person as well, because we do want to play these animations. Third person pistol. Go to our anim graph. We'll plug these in here. And I think now when we play bang bang bang, got this little pistol moving. Grab another client. You can see that's actually firing now. The cool thing with that is that we can add particle effects to the animation and sounds, and that will be replicated across everybody now. So a couple of things that I can undo. We can remove this, we can bring this, we'll just bring this all back in line with the original page. Get rid of that, don't need this open. This MC anim doesn't need both of these, it just needs montage. When we fire the bullet, we don't need that. Okay, so that should all be cleaned up now. Okay, so we have, keep opening that and I don't need to. We have fixed the 3p animations for firing, so we'll make sure that that's written. I did also notice that there was a dry fire, so implement dry fire. and reload. There was a reloading animation, so I want to have a look into that as well. Okay, so replicate aim pitch, that's not working. So let's have a look at our ABP TP for third person. So we'll just take a look at the rifle one first. Is there a variable in here? There's random new variables. Let's go take a look at those new variables that don't have names. So we're looking here, we've got whether we're in air, whether we're moving, that's going to be for our state tree. So when we look at our anim graph, we actually have this locomotion, we have a state tree in here. We have these conditions that's saying if we're in air, we should do this jump start animation. And then here we should automatically, based on the relevant anim time, jump over to the jump loop. And when we're no longer in air, we should do the jump end, like the landing animation, and then go back to idle. And at any time while we're idle, we can also run and jump. So I tend to do my jumps through montages, because this is just underlying. And so I tend to have just idle in air. Or I have movement in air, and I have my idle as part of a blend space that is included with run. But it's each to their own, it's different use cases, right? So we have this pitch N here. What happens if I change that? It does update. So let's look at how pitch N is calculated. It's right here through our control rotation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this control rotation. We're going to take a look at what that, oh, we should give it a key as well. We'll give it a key of the owner's name. So we only have one of these. Get the display name. So we only have one of these per one. So in here I can look up and down R, G, and B. In fact, none of these rotations are working. Get the rotation of the controller off and the view pitch of this pawn. Ah, yes. Let's get the view. Let's get the actor eyes viewpoint, and we'll get this rotation instead. We may need to do this in several other places. The pitch is actually changing there now. Oh, I should have tried that with two characters. There's a rifle over here. Pick this rifle up. I did notice that while I'm running now, I'm actually getting some sort of glitch occurring. We'll add another client. So if I go and look at this character now, look up, look down, you can see that on client 1, the pitch, only the yaw is updating on client 1. The pitch is not updating for the view, And also the movement is a little bit more glitchy now. For the owner. Kind of updating a little bit slowly. Just do one player and see if that is. So this works fine. So that doesn't feel great. Get control rotation. No, it's always been a little jumpy, interestingly. Which is good, because we're still at parity at that point. should mention that speed things up a little bit. What we'll do right now is we'll actually add some initialize inventory function. So what we'll do on here, on begin play, on the authority, we will initialize the inventory. And in here what we'll do is we'll create starting weapons. We'll change this to this, we'll each through here, and we'll add weapon. And so I'm just going to add the rifle as a starting weapon. You could do that through save data, you could do that through start of round money shop if you wanted to do it that way. You could do a few things with that. Okay, so let's have a look over here. Checking out the live stream status here. So my restream isn't actually working because it says we have 3 people watching, but it doesn't tell me that we have 3 people watching. So either way, let's just carry on. We were messing with the left and right here. Turning left and right is also causing micro adjustments in the animation. So as I move my left trigger, you can see it sort of hopping up and down. I'm going to take another look at the animation blueprint quickly. In fact, I can... yeah, so we had been using the control rotation before. Let's just do that one more time. It was glitching out before as well, apparently. So I guess that's always been a thing. I'm not super happy about it. Doesn't stop me from being able to shoot stuff. Okay. So let's go back to using this. Let's just go for 2 clients to start. So up and down is working from server to client now. I don't think it's going to work the other way around. Yeah, so the server's view rotations aren't working correctly. Let's go and look at how this is done for look rotations. So we should just have a function called look. It's probably in the parent. Aim, add controller yaw and pitch. So yeah, we have this look function and we edit the controller's yaw and pitch input, which should aim us up and down, and that will affect our control rotation, which we can't get through the get control rotation on the pawn because I guess the function just goes and gets the controller info anyway. So let's do a quick Google. Let's bring this over here. We've got replicating pitch because it doesn't seem to be doing what we want. People are replicating it manually. I'd like to avoid. I'm pretty sure I've done this properly before. Watching through a video right now. He is using, yeah, I guess it's because he's doing first person, so it would work. Let's use Super Google. Okay, come on, Super Google. UE5 replicated pitch using only replicated pitch using only inbuilt functionality, i.e., control rotations. However, they seem to only rep you. See if we can type things properly. Replicate pitch using only inbuilt functionality. Mostly relying on this built-in replication. You're correct. The pitch isn't automatically replicated. Here's how you can fix it. Control rotation yours replicate to the server and the client's movement component, but pitch and roll are not automatically replicated. By default, remote clients only see your changes in the other meshes. User player controller set control rotation on the local player. Pitch is part of the control rotation and it's updated locally. You can read and write it like this. Okay. Pitch is part of the control rotation and it's updated locally. Replicate pitch via an aim offset or mesh rotation. To visually replicate this, use get base aim rotation dot pitch in anim graph. Next, go blind space. Get base aim rotation. Sure. I mean, I would have thought that would have something to do with the actor eyes, but let's just go with this. Up, down. And I can see on the top there that it's not. Well, I'm not replicating the other guy. Okay, up, down, cool. Look at the other guy. Up. Ah, sweet. Base aim rotation. That's the one we wanted all along. Okay, so we found the magic where we don't have to replicate it ourselves. So we can go ahead and delete all of this. It's base aim rotation. That means it's one-to-one on all clients, etc. So that's cool. Event graph. So this says if we have a controller, by default we aim at the player's eyes. I don't know why this one is replicated and like some of the others are not necessarily replicated. I'm curious to use this here as well. I would be interested what happens if I use it for first person. And what in this case is called first person weapon, but I know what they really mean is first person rifle. Have a look at this. Play. Yeah, this is all good. Okay, so client sees me looking up and down. Now I am the client. I can look up and down. So one thing I've noticed with whatever's going on with this third person is when I move to the left or the right, it doesn't matter which way I move, but I always sort of turn in place. Ooh, in the wrong direction, basically. So that I go left, or sorry, my character's turning to the right. That's correct. My character's moving to the left. My third person character is incorrect. And additionally, because my character's turning like that, when I fire, it doesn't look like I'm in danger, right? If a guy was running across the screen like this, strafing, I wouldn't think I'm in danger if I was the guy on the left. I'd be like, oh yeah, he's not even aiming at me, I'm all good. But actually what could happen is he just like popped me straight in the head. I actually killed him. Nice. So it's good to know that that works. Let's just make sure that we jump in here and use this. We used base aim rotation in EOD. We've got a new bug. Let's fix this new bug here. We got this like strafing anime like TP issue, third person issue. Let's have a look at that. Why is that? Maybe it's something to do with NuVar. In the anim graph, we have a control rig that's using NuVar as the rotation. this control rig has a lot in it. It's for hand adjustment. Maybe I just don't do that. So this is, well, this is first person weapon. So maybe we'll keep it on first person. It seemed to work fine there, but on third person, it wasn't so good. Let's go to the anim graph. Oh, there is no rotating on here. So let's go to running. We've got a blend space here. Let's have a look at this blend space. We've got all kinds of strange things in here, I guess. So you can see here, the problem is that the animations were set up wrong. So like, they're all facing the same way. Okay, I'm going to assume, well, I know that strafing to the left is wrong. This is unjog right. Sorry, it is unjog left. Okay. I guess these animations were never correct. Is jogging left, but backwards, in a backwards way. Right. You could say it's intended. In which case, yeah, this Nuva, that's got to change. Let's call this movement, I guess. Movement R. I didn't put an R in there. Interesting. I did not misspell movement. Let's do that on all of them. Movement. This other Nuva, I don't know where that's used, so let's go find out. We've got it in the anim graph. It's used for the control rig. We'll just call it like rig rotation. Rig rotation. Okay. I don't know if that's needed in the third person. Well, that was in the first person. So we've got it. We've got rig rotation in here. We're setting it, but we're never using it. Anyway, what I want to do for the upper body is I want to make sure that the top half of the bones are just facing forward. The strafe animals are bad in all the templates. Yeah, I was thinking just quickly there of just importing a new one and applying just one from the marketplace that's like free. Which, you know, like maybe I should, but the quickest way to solve this is to not care about the legs and just make sure that the upper body is actually facing in the direction that we want it to face in for the third person character. And so a quick way of doing that we'll do TP weapon. First, I'm just going to go and rename these variables that don't have names. Rig rotation. We'll do movement here. So that's the first person weapon sorted, the first person pistol sorted, third person pistol, and we've got the third person rifle as well. Come down here, we'll just call this movement. We'll call this rig rotation. Sorted on there. Okay. So we care about the third person rifle. We're going to go into the anim graph here. We're layer blending by pose, and the layer setup is from the spine, but the blend weight is good. Oh no, it's all these none What's this? None and none. Though they didn't name the blend space axes, so this isn't like called yaw and pitch. It's just what it is, and that is the pitch. We could actually offset the upper body to be facing you when that top variable is actually when you're strafing, basically. However, I mean, they're not going to have an animation. They're not going to have an animation for it. This is the problem with just expanding this without an animation set. Let's just look at the AO. We've got this up and down, which is cool. Assume we don't have. So we've got. Well, we do have rifle ADS. Let's have a look. Rifle ADS. That's up. It's down. That's up. Yeah. Okay. So so we don't actually have like a turn left and a turn right. And so what I want to do is transform a bone. It's like a super hacky way of doing this, but it's going to work. We're just going to rotate the spine. 1. We don't care about translation, that's ignored. We don't care about scale, that's ignored. We just care about rotation. We're gonna replace the rotation, possibly in component space. Let's promote this to a variable called adjusted spine rotation. And then we're going to go and control the adjusted spine rotation, which means that the the up and down like blend spaces are kind of useless at that point. Oh no, you know what? No, it's not going to work. I was going to try and apply it before, and then, but that's just not going to work either. I'll tell you what I could do. Let's do it this way. I'm getting jitters about like overriding bones. So instead, what we'll do, we'll go to the AO. We'll grab this. We'll grab this animation, duplicate it, and we'll call it something a little bit more obvious, like animation sequence underscore rifle underscore idle ADS left strafe. Spell correctly. It's one piece of advice. Programming is spell correctly. Right strafe. So for the left strafe, we're just literally gonna take this bone, and if we're doing that weird left ways movement, he's like running this way and facing that way. He's like running sideways. I think I need to just turn him like, try 80 degrees to start with, and we add a key. Let's just try the left first. See if this works. Let's go to the AO rifle and add left strafe in here and right strafe in here. Let's name these axes as well. So we'll call this pitch. We'll just call this one yaw. Okay, so now, yeah, so he can aim up and all this, yeah, sweet. Down. Oh yeah, well, he doesn't have a right strafe. Let's go edit right strafe. He's also strafing to the right. So they kind of aim in the same direction in both instances. Can we get the BS for blend space? Idle walk run. Oh, that's not ideal. Strafe. Right, Strafe. I didn't key it. We're only going 80 degrees. Let's see. Okay, so in the AO rifle, got left and also right because we're strafing in the same direction for both of them. This is really weird. We're just going to call this like your AO. That's what it is. We'll actually rename this to pitch AO. Okay. So he's moving. And he's moving, that's forward and back. Let's say he's moving -1. So that the yaw needs to be -1. And now let's say that's 1. Wait. It's so derpy. Oh! Not a massive fan of the animations that have been provided, but that's okay. You work with what you've got, you know? Okay, so pretty simple. Your AO is a selected float that is either -1 or 1, as long as the absolute variable of y is like more than, let's say, 0.5. Yeah, that looks as it looks completely broken, I imagine. No, this is looking at us now. Yeah, it's good enough. Good enough. Good enough. Let's fix the hand IK. That hand IK is not right. In the anim graph, yeah, okay. So we don't have any hand IK yet. So let's just add. Well, let's go back to our notes. We did fix this. Jank AO edits. Sometimes Jank's okay. So really what you would do is you would have a new anim set and you would just implement your own anim set because that wasn't too great. Might have to go back to that one day if I actually plan to put this on Steam, but okay. Let's jump through to a bit of fabric. Is fabric still a thing? It is. Cool. Pop that in there. Slot for the arms. Yeah, that's like firing the rifle. So we'll do this after. So we'll fire the rifle and then we'll adjust the left hand. So it's the left hand that we care about. Hand underscore L. We've hit the hour. We have hit the hour. Could really just end it here, but I want to get this fabric done. So the effector transform, we'll just promote this to left hand IK. Fabric is hand L. Root bone is like clavicle. We'll do arm, upper arm L, lower arm L. We just want it to move. We'll have to do upper arm. Maybe. Okay. And now you'll see his hand just goes down to the ground because he doesn't know that really the... Hello, can I move it, please? Oh, right, yeah. Can I edit that? Can't show a 3D widget for it. That's annoying. Okay, well, if I just disconnect this, and then I just grab it. You'll see the idea is we're going to, and this is for the rifle in particular, because the pistol was fine, but we're just going to move this around, sort of up and down. The elbow, I mean, he's got one of those kind of like tactical, like foregrip poses going on, but mainly he's just going to be sliding this back and forward. Even like reload a shotgun with it. If you had the socket attached to a shotgun's receiver or the pump reload, and then you animated that pump reload when you reloaded a shotgun, his hand would just move with the socket, which is super cool. Super simple as well. Okay, so we've got left hand IK. Apparently this is happening in component space. It's kind of world space. We'll see. So we'll open BP rifle, and then we'll open the blueprint editor. We'll take a look at the third person mesh here. We'll jump into this. We're going to go to the skeleton, and we're going to add, it's literally got one bone, so we're going to add a socket. Add a socket. Oh, they're all sockets. Awesome. So this socket is FABRIK. We will place it where we kind of want the hand, and we'll have to edit this socket to get the right alignment. But back in our animation here, what we can do is make a new function. Function, setup IK, or what would you call this? Yeah, setup IK, that's fine. We're going to get the pawn. Did we cache it, or did we not cache it? We cached something. We have cached nothing. We'll just, if I get pawn owner again, I'm not a massive fan that they're doing this over and over, so I'm actually going to fix it right now. Vent the gameplay. If I get pawn owner, if it's valid, promote it to a variable, just put it my pawn. I know programmers that don't like that, so this is just pawn. It's obviously the parent pawn of this animation. We'll come in here, convert that to a validated get. And so rather than calling this getter every time, we're just doing this. Now, I don't actually know. Maybe the C++ getter for that was literally just a pure function where it was already cached, and I've just cached it a second time. And so maybe that was the better process. But so now I'm just storing more memory. Yay me. Let me know if that's the case. Pawn. We want to get a socket, or we want to get the mesh. Oh great, it's not a character. Well, that makes this a lot healthier then, because we're now going to actually change this to a character, and we're going to cast it once to a character, and it would be great if that wasn't in the way. We're going to change the name of this to character. File, and refresh this. Character. Now we've got all these things that are like, hey, character, 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 that's cool. And in this, for the setup IK, we've already passed a validation check for this. We can get the mesh. Well, actually, we're going to get the, we need the inventory. What we can do is get comp by class here. We'll get the inventory component. Make a custom event, bind to weapon. We will take this, all bind to weapon changed up the gameplay. Anytime that this inventory component changes weapon, I'm going to get the current weapon. We're just going to cache that as current weapon. May return null. make sure that it does return. Yeah, it will return null. Okay, so what we've set up here, the idea is we need to know which weapon to get that bone from. And so for that, we're going to need to have this event that triggers every time the weapon changes. Additionally, the weapon may already have changed or replicated by the time that you initialize this animation blueprint. So in the case that it's already set up, we'll just call weapon changed if this is valid. We'll set that up. Okay. The bind to weapon changed here. We've got a nice binding on weapon changed. It updates this. When we set up the IK, we actually care about the weapon, not character. We have this new weapon. We can get the mesh. Is this weapon actually a weapon? It is. It's a weapon base. Yet mesh. Does base weapon not have mesh? Ah, right, okay. It called it weapon. TP weapon. Get TP weapon. Get socket. Socket transform. We called it foregrip. So for stats, what we'll do is we'll just promote this to, well, sorry, we don't need to promote that to a variable. We've already got the left-hand IK, so I think that's going to set us up. The character does not have an inventory component, because it might be a an AI, which is a problem that I should solve, because that means the AI can't switch weapons. So let me write that down. But for now, I'm going to just fix it first off. So two things I'm doing right now. The IK, which is up top, but then also there's a bug here for AI don't use inventory yet. So we need to fix that. Yeah, okay, so as long as this thing actually has an inventory. So we can't see any problems in first person because we're not doing anything with first person. So let's go look at our anim graph. We do have left-hand IK plugged in here. We're in component space. And we never called, I bet you we never called setup IK. So let's call setup IK, and because it's not just a setup function, it's actually an update function, I'm going to call it update IK. So now you can see it is at the front there. Let's say it's maybe a little bit too far forward. So if we now go and play with the skeleton, we should just be able to pull this forward and back, and it should update on the... So it is updating, but it's not in the right space. So when we're looking in here and we're looking at RTS world, let's look at RTS component. Now his hand's right down at the bottom there. Got my face in the background. We don't want that. So this isn't working. It can't go up or down either. Just keep trying different spaces. Actor, no. Parent bone. What I could do is go back to the anim graph as well and change how the fabric is working from component space to parent bone space. Feels like it's about to crash. No, okay, we're good. Now his hand's in his face. We are in parent bone space. That's not right. if I get it in world space, I could. Let's try this. Let's try and actually be smart about this. Let's do it in component space, which is to the mesh. Let's get the world space and then transform this by another transform. Can you do that? No. I could break the location out and then I could transform it. So you're trying to inverse and transform it to local space to world space, or world space in this case to the local of the component. Let's go bone space here. And first, let's just get the location. Get the world location. Oh, socket. Get socket location. Then we're going to transform this location inversely based on the get character mesh. Yeah, because that's the third person one. Get transform. Put that in there, and then we'll make a transform here. Nope. This one, please. Put that in. Back to our anim graph. Make sure that this is in component space. Back here, and now we can kind of move this. Looks cool. Can I rotate it? Cannot rotate it because I'm not doing that part correctly. But we have got the hand sort of following along where we kind of wanted it. So let's say we wanted it at the magazine, we can put it by the magazine if we wanted, or over here. So that's kind of cool. What I would like to do is be able to also sort of rotate it, but that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It works. And so before, obviously, it was kind of jank. I would like to be able to rotate it. So let's break this. Put this location in here, and then inverse this transform of this rotator by the world space of the component and plug that in. No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all, everything's actually all right. You're okay. Why did that break it so much? You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. If you have something that's going on in your life right now that's... Oh, right. World. Interesting. Changing the rotation does absolutely nothing. Oh, right, yeah, because it's maintaining, see how it says maintain local rotation relative. So copy the target rotation. Okay, sweet. Now we're also in control of the rotations of this IK, which is neat. Then, of course, if he changes to pistol, Numkey will now run away and find one. Come back. This one does not use the IK because it didn't need to. The animation was fine. But you might want to use IK. In fact, you can see to some degree the IK is kind of wrong. So let's actually go and edit the other one as well. So we're going to copy what we've just done over to the pistol animation blueprint, which is why I would have liked it if it had inheritance, but it's okay. Anim graph. Let's move all this over. We may want to disable the alpha of this when we're playing an animation. The reason I don't have this fabric before this is because when the gun fires, I want the hand to stay with the gun. But if we're actually playing like a reload animation, then I do want to ignore it. So the alpha we could promote to a variable during reloads, but we'll worry about that later. So back in the event graph, there was some other changes that we did here. So we want to do nothing for that one, but we want to do nothing for both of those. And then we just right click and refresh. We have this current weapon. We have this character variable. We can use this character, right click, convert, plug that in there, get rid of this. Oh, did that wrong. Convert this to a validated get. Put that over there. We no longer need to validate this, so we can just do that. Here we'll create a new function. Update IK. We will steal exactly the same code. Just duplicating code. Rule of 3, third time you do it, it's a bad time, and because we know weapons are going to be more than 2. In fact, we already have a grenade launcher. It just happens to be using the rifle element set. Means that, yeah, rule of 3 occurs, and we should really be consolidating our logic in some reasonable way. And so I think in the next stream I might do more animation and still not doing the game. Like, I really want to do the game, but just solving one problem at a time. It's not all bad. It's not all bad. The SK pistol. I copied the foregrip. So now I'm just going to put that somewhere on this mesh, somewhere that makes sense, like here, I suppose. We'll keep that open because we're going to need it. And then, because we've still got the game open, you can actually see he's already attempting to use his the IK. It's good. Just make sure we compile everything in here. So right now, moving the stuff for the pistol does not work. One of the reasons, that reason, is because we didn't call update IK here. And what's the other reason? We're not going to trigger, we're not going to trigger because we haven't, don't shoot the guy. Okay. So it hadn't updated because the update only happens when you change weapon or when you initialize the game, and because we're updating the enemy blueprint at runtime, neither of those things could happen. Okay, so now we get to play with the weapon IK. So I want it to be a little bit forward here, to be a little bit rotated. Down. So I could either say I want it kind of here. Looks kind of silly. But I would like to have it kind of under the front here. Something like that would be pretty cool. You can actually see that it has a little bit of a late update latency. So I wonder if there is a setting for that, and if there isn't, then we really should use. We really then should use proper animation. I guess it's like the order of updates. Maybe. Bit of a shame. That's not ideal. But like, how often are you actually going to see that when you're running around like a fool? Okay, so bang, 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 bang. I can kill that guy. He should definitely ragdoll though. So let's go back over to our AI. Don't use inventory. Sure. IK. Yes. Semi. Yes. This is no longer happening, so that's good. Let's get rid of that. Actually, we'll keep it for reference because now we can see what it was before and after. How would you recommend learning replication if you were to restart? I mean, I learned from YouTube, so I'm sure those videos are all still there. The trick was to do it a lot, do a lot of game jams in a replicated sense, and watch a lot of different YouTube tutorials to get a good sort of library that things you can agree with or agree with more or less than the last tutorial you did and the next tutorial that you did, and that will get you to a point where you can make some educated decisions on how you would approach something. Where are we at next? Time are we on? 1:12. So I did just mention that it would be nice if the dude ragdolled. So we'll add a quick ragdoll. Let's put that down in the ideas area. Ragdoll on depth. So there is a health value if we find the references to that. This is a server only function. The health goes down if it gets to the bottom. We just deactivate the weapon. That's kind of terrible. We should we're going to add a new function in our inventory called clear inventory, and that is going to go through all owned weapons in reverse. We're going to each in reverse. We're going to destroy these actors. So rather than just deactivating them, we're just going to tell this to clear. That will delete all weapons that we don't need. And then we destroy the actor here. We don't want to do that. We want to set lifespan. Set lifespan. Set life. No. Lifespan. When it expires, the actor will be destroyed. So we'll set this to like 30, and then we'll actually set, I mean, if I was using gameplay ability system, I would set the tag that, you know, status is dead, and then we would do things based on that. But here we're just going to hold a replicated variable. So we will set that to true here. As long as that is true. We will grab the mesh. we will set the profile, Ragdoll. We will simulate physics. We will set the collision enabled for this actor to none. So once you simulate physics, the mesh will actually disconnect from the character, and then we're going to set the collision of this character to 0. We're going to disable the movement component, which means that the capsule won't fall out of the world. And we can test all of these things real quick. Oops, set actor collision enabled. I wonder actually if this mesh even has collision set up. Must do. It's typically how you would test for some stuff. Totally worked. Let's have a look at, before we go too far, one of the things we should do is check that this guy actually has, he does have a physics body, so that's good. I'm going to assume it was this actor enable collision. Oh, yeah. So what happened there was it destroyed the actors, and then it came through a second time and tried to do it again. So here, what we're going to do is, in this function, we're going to have two parts. We're going to have the everyone part and the server part. And then the server will do this. Dead. And also, you know, it's like, if you're dead, you can't really run this logic. Or rather, if you're not dead, you can run this logic. Would read a lot nicer than a double negative. Okay. I put my conditions as early as possible. Want to run less code. So I wouldn't want to check the health, set the health, and then check if he's already dead. I just want to be like, hey, if you're not dead, then you can carry on. Otherwise, you'll receive the damage and then do nothing. And then that's a nicer little flow there. Who's my enemy? I cannot interact with his body, which makes it very difficult to move around. So another thing that we would probably want to do is apply an impulse based on the last damage vector. However, this is any damage, not point damage, so we actually can't do it. And so just to make this juicier, we're just going to add impulse to the mesh at a random unit vector multiplied by a float. One way that you can get the data for the thing that killed you, the direction that you got killed by, is by using point damage, which will actually give you a vector. What we could do, though, saying that, we could get a direction from the causer, and as long as the causer was the bullet or the grenade, then we kind of know A, where that causer was, and B, direction. So direction and position, and then we could actually apply an impulse to the character's mesh at a location, and so his head would knock out. So let's try that. Sadly, I already have this. What we'll do is we'll create a custom event, MC Death. The reason for this is that in the moment, like the moment that this happens, I actually want some behavior to occur. And for anyone else who's joining in late, like we'll just ragdoll the mesh. But in this case, we're going to multicast. We're going to want this damage causer as an input. Just rename this causer. What we can do from here is get the direction, get the actor location, get the direction to well, actually no, we would just get, oh dear, it depends. If it's a grenade, you want to get the direction from where it is to where you are. If it's a bullet, you want to get the direction of just its forward vector, because if you got the direction of a bullet to my capsule, it might actually just be like directly downwards. And if you get the forward vector of a radial damage, yeah. So let's do MC Death. We need a tag for this. We need like use actor forward. So we'll use this as a select vector, use actor forward. What I'm going to check is that the damage causer, like, does it have a tag? And is that tag bullet versus, you know, actually we'll call it radial. And if it's not radial, then we'll use the actor forward. And what we'll do is we'll go grab the grenade projectile. Of course, it's not actually a projectile. We've got a couple of projectiles here. PP first person projectile. People pistol bullet. Oh, speaking of actually Zero, if you're still there, like, I haven't had to, but maybe ChatGPT is good for this. Learning replication from like the new age. Very, very possible. We've got bullet and we've got a generic first person projectile. I'm going to expand. I think this is probably an extension of first person projectile. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to create a child blueprint class. We're just going to call this grenade. And in here, we're going to add a tag. And then we're going to open up BP underscore grenade launcher. We're going to make sure that we're using the grenade. We should also have an abstract class for our regular projectile so that we can cast to it without having a size map for any data. And also because if we go and change the defaults of this, yeah, I had this as sort of a mirror of the original, then the defaults in this one may change when I clean up the original. So usually I just like to start with an abstract class from the get-go, and abstract classes are something you can tick them in the settings here, abstract, and all that means is it can't be spawned, it can't be placed in the world. And that means generally, you know, you're also looking to say like it's mutable, there's no artwork in there, there's no sound, and the size map is quite small. In this one's case, like it's not terrible, but you know, it could get worse quite easily if you're not careful. Again, probably over the heads of the basic tutorial stuff, but okay, so now we have a projectile that has the title radial. Are we using the actor forward? Yes, it's going to be just forward. Otherwise, it's going to be the direction to the, I'm going to say the pelvis of this character. And so that will be for an impulse that we will add to the mesh. We're going to multiply this by a float. We will have as a selector again, which is, I should just really call this like explosive. Is it explosive? And it's like, if it's radial, it's explosive. And maybe we should just call this explosive. And then actually go change it on the grenade. Ag. Explosive. Now we don't have like a knot in the middle. We just have, is it explosive? It's explosive. And if it is explosive, pick A. And if it's not explosive, it's hit trace. Again, if it is explosive, we might just need different forces for the impulse here. So I'm just setting that up. So for now, we'll just go like 200 in both of those. All right. Bone name, yes. Good question. Nearest bone, find closest bone to get after location, I guess. And so that'll be it. So next up, we have this on-rep dead, and essentially a couple of things. This capsule, this should not have collision, so that I can actually walk through the guy. Secondly, my capsule, possibly, what's it called? It's like the ability to push around ragdolls, and so there's a name for that. The grenade isn't doing any radial at the moment. Oh yeah, it's not, so the damage is always going to be a hit. But we can pretend that we'll do that soon. Let's actually write that down, because you're right, it does not. Let's do grenade should do a blast. That's when I'm going to start adding artwork and stuff. I'll get some particle systems in. Okay, so this ragdoll setup and basically all of this should be in a function, init ragdoll, and we'll do that on the multicast as well. So that means that happens the moment that you die, but it also where did I put the ragdoll? That's right there. Move this here. Let's call it death ragdoll. But we want to do it here so that when we add this impulse, it doesn't give us an error saying that we're not actually physicsed. And the reason for that is because not because we're calling it before this. Like, we could call these in a different order, but this notify may actually, and often will, come later than this multicast on the stack of replications. So we're going to just init it there as well. Hallucinations, yeah, it will get better, right? Yeah, the hallucination stuff will get better, for sure. There are probably some good Udemy courses out there, but yeah, everything I've learned by like doing it for games jams mainly, and through that I got a job, and then through that job, you get a lot better, a lot quicker. It's a language at the end of the day, so knowing the language is half the battle. And if I was to make an honest recommendation, I'd be like, just go play with UFN and use the new AI developer assistant tool that, yes, may also have hallucinations, but generally it has been proven to compile through their own live streams that they did just recently. I'll be right back. Audio, there we go, and scene. So yeah, apparently my partner was locked out of the apartment. Okay, so let's have a look. We're going to knit the ragdoll, and we're going to add an impulse. Let's see if that works. Damage causer was not set. Okay, so let's go look at the projectile. When it hits something, it's going to apply damage. The damage causer is self. What we'll do is we'll change the health of this guy just all the way down to 1. So either it's working and the force is really low, or it's not working at all. We should add impulse from a location as well, was like one of the main points is we want to get the actor location, and that's there, and that goes in there, and that's the bone that we're going to apply it to, and all of this together will actually inform how it behaves. So what we can do is we'll just change this to a float for now, and we'll just say 2000. 2000. There is a force. It is applied to some bone. Oh, yeah, and that bone requires a physics asset, yeah. Let's just go like 20,000. One. There we go. So now he like dies in a direction.
No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life.
That's kind of. And then I can't interact with him right now. I did disable the collision on the capsule. Show collision. So sadly, the capsule's probably falling through the world. I'm going to just double check that because I hate it when that is the case. Show collision. So here's this guy. I'm going to slow it down. Slow-mo 0.1 in the console. I touch it, what happens? Oh, okay. It must have just been behind me. So yeah, the idea is that capsule is technically still there. That's just going to be where the camera is, I guess, attached to, or maybe we'll attach the camera to the body for spectate cam. Because obviously in the top right now you can see it's a problem. Yeah, I changed it to replicating the shooter template, but it didn't update the title. So yeah, I'll be updating the title later. I did update the title for the first one, replicating the 5.6 shooter template. Yeah, okay, so pretty cool. Interesting about all these floating collisions. Where would that be? Huh. Interesting. Very strange. It's on the server as well. That's just what happens to the current projectile. It's a bit sus. On purpose what? Sorry, I missed what I said. It was a while ago. Yeah, these guys do not necessarily die. Did add the ragdoll. How long have we got left on this video here? 13 minutes. So we could try and add the equip and unequip animations. Partner locked out. Oh yeah, on purpose? Yeah, maybe. Nah, I usually leave the door open for them, but I don't know. I locked it today, I guess. Got a lot of stuff. Whoa, don't want to change fonts. I mean, what else is there really to do? We could just ship this. Hi guys. Oh wow. Immediately get an error somewhere in the weapon base for the owner. Oh. First time I've seen that one. Wonder what happened there. Yeah, if you're firing the weapon. Did I like accidentally kill myself? I did. I killed him as he spawned. He actually spawned at the camera location of my character. Yeah, it should just, yeah, interesting. So that'll be fixed through like adding menus and stuff, which is another thing that we should probably do. It's like add UI. Add game state UI. That'll take a while as well. So yeah, plenty of stuff that goes into using a game. The template's cool and all, but you know, it takes a while to run it forward. Should probably spend 13 minutes fixing the death cam so that we actually have some control over the camera, that we can actually like look at the dead person and then have a little bit of a countdown until we revive, or immediately revive, I suppose. What's the plan or idea with the series? End goal? Yeah, put this on Steam as a little first-person shooter that you'd recognize, right? You'd see this level and you'd be like, oh, I know this level. This is the one from the template, and it's replicated. How did he do that? And then maybe come and watch the video. Obviously, it's a long live stream, so I might end up cutting it down. After I finish the Steam game, I'll probably cut the live stream down into like a bite-sized series, or maybe someone else will do that on sort of like my team. But I mean, there's just so many moving parts that you're better off like watching the video, because there's a lot of little tidbits in there. I'll try and create a video series. It would be nice to do that, but ultimately the goal is to go through the process. Anyone who wants to jump in on the live stream can, and make suggestions and learn some things along the way, and then okay, well, I'm back. Yeah, I think we'll cut it there. So I'm going to go grab lunch and I'll be back afterwards to do a little bit more. I'm going to do some, yeah, like by the end of today, I want it to feel like a game. So I want to have UI, I want to have the death cam working. I'd like to have, you know, round intro, round outro, scoreboard. I'd like, I think, you know, it's good enough at this point with the replication that all of those things could happen. We'd have to make sure that the jump pads are good and make sure that the doors are good, and remove the AI from the scene. And then we've got like a little like PvP arena. So that'd be cool. That'd be what I'd want to get to. And so maybe this afternoon we'll get to a stage where that is true. And then maybe, you know, next Monday, because I only get a chance to do this once a week, is maybe next week I'll do adding like new weapons and stuff. Although it feels like a really long time away to not be making another episode on this, so might figure out how to do it from like 9 till 10 a.m. every morning. It'd be nice to maintain the stream that way, rather than one episode a week. But yeah, for now, I will see you later. And if there's anything you guys want, need, or you know, just would like to see for this particular FPS series, let me know. The idea is to also go into the third-person template and a couple of the other templates and turn those into games and have a look at how those are set up and how we could extend them. Oh yeah, no, go ahead please and tell people to come and have a look at my channel, because I guess that's like the only metric of this being worth doing is if these videos get any views, likes, comments, subscriptions to our channel, so that you know how it is, right? Like it's that that speakerphone just needs to like open up until we're actually talking to some people for any of this stuff to be worth it. So yeah, please go ahead. And if you've got a game dev channel, I'll go check it out. It says you've got a channel there. One of the things that I've been thinking of doing is like a podcast where I bring on like indies. I've done a few of them. Bring on indies or talk with other game devs, in particular content creators as well, about sort of the landscape and UI, UX, in that kind of regard. But yeah, go ahead. Streams are harder than views, I guess. I am feeling it. It's knackering. I get to the end of the day, I don't want to play anything. It's Steam Next Fest right now. I really want to play Anvil Empires, and a bunch of, you know, there's got to be countless games around that Steam Next Fest that I would love to play. By the end of the day streaming, I'm just spent. Like I don't want to see a computer. I just want to touch grass. So yeah, man, yeah, go ahead. That'd be really cool. It'd be really cool to see. So link it when if you get it done. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a bloke too. Just a bloke. A bloke who's hungry, actually. So I'm gonna go get lunch. Peace.